heavily. Our 5 games of playoff experience did not help us at all. We should have lost that Minnesota series last season. We should have absolutely lost that series. And I knew we weren't going to win that Warriors series. Even beating them by 50 one game, that little high I had in that one game, I knew we were losing the next game. So as far as our offseason goes, we I don't know. We did this last offseason where we just kind of like didn't really go up or get worse. We kind of stayed at where we were. And I thought last year we were probably going to be another 8 seed again, maybe be lucky to make the play-in. But we severely overachieved, won 56 games, tied a franchise record in wins. I think whether or not, like what this team relies on Ja, no matter whoever wants to admit it, this team relies on Ja's success. Desmond Bane, he might, even with Jaren healthy, he might be the second best player on the team. We're going to miss Jaren for the first half of the season at least. But this team, I think we could stay in that 4 or 5, maybe 6. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to go back to the 2 seed because I think there are teams better than us. But I think the Grizzlies are still good as long as Ja Morant plays at the high level that he is, as long as Desmond Bane keeps progressively getting better like he has been in his NBA career. As long as Jaren Jackson is good by the time he gets back, he struggled with injuries. Even when he's on the floor, he struggles to stay on the floor. I can't tell you how upset I was in the playoffs every time. He just played 18 minutes because he fouled out.
Closing out on 3-point shooters, too.
I know. Like, it's just dumb fouls. Not even, typical big man fouls. The fact that he's just under the goal. It's that he's, killing guys on the 3-point line.
Stuff, yeah.
I know. But yeah, I think we will still be a playoff team. We will still be a good team. We've shown that we can do, with the depth that we have. I think keeping Tyus Jones was the best thing we did in that offseason. Tyus Jones is the best backup point guard in the NBA, bar none. Do not tell me anybody else. Tyus Jones is such an integral part of that team, and when it showed when Ja Morant was out, when we were whatever when he was gone, Tyus Jones took that lead and ran away with it. So I think as long as Ja keeps playing at the high level that he is, really, even without us being good without Ja, I think this team is still pretty good. I just think their team's better. So I don't think we'll win 56 games again. I still think we can hover around 48-ish. But yeah, I still think we're a good team. But I think we'll drop down.
Who do you think will play Jaren's spot while he's out?
Santi's been good. I love Aldama. He's probably he reminds me of Mark. He really does. On offense, he reminds me of Mark. Just the way he can set people up. Defensively, he's not there at all, like Mark is or was. But I don't know. As a Grizzlies fan, he reminds me of Mark. I like Santi. I don't know if he'll start. We just extended Brandon Clark, so he'll probably take that starting spot. But yeah, I like Santi a lot. Get a lot of minutes.
I think we'll miss D'Anthony Melton a lot too.
I do too. I think Kyle Anderson is a big loss too. He was
Kyle Anderson.
He was a little things guy. He did a lot of the little things well. Same with D'Anthony Melton. He just got out there and played his heart out. I think it was. I don't blame us getting rid of D'Anthony Melton because we needed money to pay Ja. And him being on the books for $8 million doesn't seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things. But we want to pay Desmond Bane too. So
yeah,
that was a future move in my opinion.
Yeah, I just got Danny Green. He probably won't play the whole year. I think he only had $10 million on his contract though. For this last year.
They said he might play a little bit.
Yeah, but the only thing
he's out for a while.
I don't think we're dying to rush Danny Green on the floor.
No. I'm not saying that, but like it's not. I'm saying it's not going to be like a Andre Iguodala situation.
Yeah, I had Memphis as my 8 seed. I think they're going to.
I had Memphis around 5 or 6.
I think they're going to struggle without Jaren Jackson at first, and when he comes back, they'll try to catch up. I just think the West is just that stacked. I don't know how their schedule is at first, but I think they're a struggle at first, in my opinion.
Yeah, the West is loaded. That's why I
we
think
should
we'll
be
drop a little
1-0.
bit. Should be.
Yeah.
Who knows? Their over under is 48.5.
I had them right at 48, so I don't.
Slide over.
Yeah, I'm gonna take slide over.
I'll say
I'm gonna
over,
take
but not
slide
by
over.
not by a lot. Like I think they'll sit around 48, 49.
I had them at 48, so I'm like in the middle.
Sorry, I'm trying to find a team that we hadn't done.
Yeah, getting kind of slim, getting down to the end of it almost.
Yeah, close to it.
Yikes, and you got the Charlotte Hornets.
You don't got to say much.
Yeah, I mean, how long's Melo gonna be out?
1 to 2
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
Couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I really ain't got much to say. I mean, what's their over under wins?
I would guess low.
Yeah, I would too.
35.5.
Yeah, I'm going under on that. Slamming the under.
Under.
Their defense is so bad. So
Yeah.
bad.
I think the dumbest thing was firing Borrego. That was they had no reason. They had no reason to fire him. They won. We went over 500 for the first time since Kimba was there in 2016.
Probably.
They were trending upwards every season since he's been there. Fast-paced offense with Melo, pop guy. Borrego was I don't know if we've never seen him play high-level basketball before with his team. He may not have gotten over that hump. They may have saw that before anybody else has, but hiring Steve Clifford back, I don't think that was the move.
And I don't think they brought anybody in to get better either. I don't think.
They
I will
didn't
say
just-
I was very excited when I saw that Duran was going there before he got traded to.
They should have kept Durant.
If Duran and Melo would have played together, that'd been so fun to watch. I think.
he got Cade though. Him and Cade will be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
But
All
yeah,
right.
the Hornets didn't address their biggest issue. They'll be bad on defense again. Who we got?
Jacob, you got the Utah Jazz.
Oh, I'm up.
Oh, my bad. Elijah, you got the Utah Jazz.
I won't say
you
much
guys
about.
say much here.
Yeah, I won't say much about the Jazz. I expect them to continue to make moves with Mike Conley, and even though they just signed Jordan Clarkson for whatever reason, maybe they want him to be the tank commander, or I don't know. But
Where Mike Conley's gonna go?
I hope he goes to a contending team. I'd like to see him go to a contending.
I would say bring Mike Conley back, but our point guard is set. Bro, he would just play the two. The backup two.
I'd like to see him go. I'd like to see him go to like the Milwaukee Bucks and like maybe play like a backup type role. I think that he would be good.
Mike needs to get out of there. He deserves better than what they're in right now.
Yeah, they won't be good. I think that they have some solid players with Colin Sexton. With they've got some solid young players. Taylor Horton Tucker, I guess.
Colin Sexton will be the tank commander.
Yeah, Larry Markkinen, but they won't be good. There's no continuity on that team. They got a new head coach and Will Hardy coming from Boston Celtics. What's their win total?
I'm going under, whatever it is.
24.5.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think
Well-
they'll actually win more than 24. I'm gonna take it over.
I had him at 22. I'll stick with under.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
I'll take a slight over. I like Will Hardy. I think Will Hardy has the chops to be a good good NBA head coach. They just don't have a lot to build off of. They have so many draft picks, but they just don't really have that guy that they can just hope they'll be good in the future, unless they feel that with Colin Sexton.
Yeah, I think they're going to put it around him.
That's basically what it is.
Victor is probably going to be a Jazz come June. Jacob, you got the Hawks.
I was just looking at them too. I had them as my 8 seed, not much over 500, just because the East is stacked. I mean, I think DeJounte, I was worried about how the fit would be at first with DeJounte and Trey, but watching them, I think it'll be fine working out. It's just the East is stacked. I think if they get hot at the right time, they could push for the. I don't want to say that. They could push for a higher seed, maybe. But I think they're built for the regular season too. I think playoff time, I don't know how I'd feel about them as a playoff team. But I think their depth is. I don't think it's. I can't remember what all they did, but I don't think it's just great. I think they will rely on Trey and DeJounte. They're going to stagger them a lot. I think one will probably be on the court at all times. But I think they'll go as far as they can take them, I guess.
Yeah, their defense is really their biggest question. But what I'm wanting to see is how well Trae Young can, like, what he can he do anything off the ball is what I want to see from him, because DeJounte's gonna run the offense at some point, because he was top 5 in assists last season, averaging like 9+. DeJounte's gonna have the ball, and if Trae Young can't do anything or learn to do anything off the ball in that team offensively, even though they were the number 1 offense last season, mainly because Trae Young had the ball. Offensively, they're going to struggle if Trae Young doesn't know what to do without the ball, because what we've seen with him out without having the ball, he just sits there, doesn't do anything.
Right.
So with DeJounte having, offensive responsibilities other than Trae Young's going to have to learn to develop off the ball, and that's what I'm, wanting to see.
Yeah, like I said, they'll probably stagger him a lot. So if they don't stagger him, I don't know how that works.
The Hawks, I would probably take their over.
What's their number? They have depth concerns for me.
45.5. That's a little high.
I'm taking the under.
I'm taking the under.
On that.
I'll take a slight under.
Yeah,
they have depth concerns for me. I think DeAndre Hunter's really good. I think he'll have a good season. But losing Gallinari and losing DeLon Wright, I think that's one of the bigger, more underrated losses for them. He was so critical for their perimeter defense. And they bring in DeJounte to address that. He's a good perimeter defender. But their bench, I'm not trusting in it.
Yeah. If they don't meet expectations around the trade deadline, do you think they finally trade John Collins?
I don't know.
I think
they gave up. They'll keep it and probably
first.
write it out. I think they'll keep it and probably write it out, because they gave up a lot of assets for DeJounte.
Right.
And I don't know if they'll get that in return for John Collins.
I think they trade Capella before they trade John Collins.
Yeah, because they have Okongwu behind them, and I think they would rather have Okongwu rather than Capella.
I agree.
I'll probably go under as well. I got the Dallas Mavericks. All right, Dallas is weird. I think the only thing they did was lose Jalen Brunson.
You got Christian Wood.
Christian Wood. Yeah.
They did bring a Christian Wood. I forgot about that. He'll be
JaVale McGee.
He'll be good for them. Having another scoring option for Luka is always good. But this team is it reminds me of the early 2000s Sixers with Allen Iverson.
Luka's AI, huh?
This team, Luka's gonna be better than AI. This team is
Easily.
they will live and die, and they will go wherever Luka takes them. It's that simple. As long as Luka's playing well, that team is going to do well. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's what I was really saying about LeBron and the Lakers.
But it didn't happen.
I don't think it's the same though.
It's not. Luka has.
You get what I'm saying though.
Luka's shown that he can lead a team past a couple of playoff series. They won their first playoff series since they last won a title last season. So Luka's that guy. Luka's gonna. I think he's the MVP favorite right now. I think Luka will be. Luka. I'm saying a lot of Luka, but that's all the Mavericks are right now. In my opinion, it's just Luka. Luka's gonna take that team wherever he can.
Yeah, he's my second in MVP.
Hey, don't forget either. Tim Hardaway Jr. is back this season.
Yeah,
if that means anything to you.
I mean, they really didn't need him, but he'll help at least. Yeah, the Mavericks, they're over under. Oh, wow, it's 48.5.
I'll take a
high.
I'll take a slight under.
Under.
I think Luka will have them around that win total, but I'll take a slight under.
I think they'll probably sit at 48.
Yeah,
47.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be close, but I'll probably take the under too.
yeah, went under. I think Spencer Dinwiddie would have to. He's gonna have to kind of feel, I guess, that secondary like scorer role.
Going to play the Jalen Brunson role.
Yeah, somewhat.
Jackson, you've got the Sacramento Kings.
Oh gosh.
It's a very interesting team.
Yeah. They drafted Keegan Murray,
Keegan Murray.
right? Yeah. Okay. Just refreshing my memory there.
28-year-old.
You know, I've been in full football mode for a while now. So they got De'Aaron Fox, they got Keegan Murray.
Got some
I don't
bonus.
Bonus.
Yeah. I don't expect like a lot. What's the over under on wins?
33.5.
Yeah.
I think that's a lock
probably
for an
would take
over.
Yeah.
I'm going
probably
over.
take
I
the
would
over on that.
I would say that's a lock for the over.
I could see them, if the Lakers have injuries, they could take that play-in spot, the number 10.
I think they might be better than Portland right now, honestly.
I think they can stick.
We haven't even Portland hadn't even been yet. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I keep waiting on them. I keep hoping.
I'll give you the Blazers, Elijah, because
Okay.
I got the Grizzlies and he got the Sixers, so I was like,
Right.
I feel like it's only fair if you talk about the Blazers. Yeah, the Kings are a weird team. They got Mike Brown as their head coach. I think one of the dumbest things of the many dumb things that they've done in their recent franchise history was fire Dave Yeager.
I forgot
Oh,
they had
Kings
Mike
on
Brown.
this.
Yeah, I forgot about that too, actually.
The
Firing-
Mike Brown, the Mike Brown that got beat by 50 by the Grizzlies.
He got hired like 3 days before, and then his first game as an interim, he lost by 50. And the Kings were like, damn it. Bro, okay, so the Kings in recent history, I think the worst thing that they could have done was fire Dave Yeager, because that team won like 41 games. I know it's not good, but they were a 9 seed, and they were the fastest paced team in the entire league. Rightfully so, with De'Aaron Fox and all of his Buddy Hield shooting threes. And then the next season, they fire Dave Yeager for whatever reason, and they bring in Luke Walton. And you know what Luke Walton does? He slows the pace and makes them one of the worst paced teams in the entire league, in which turn makes them worse because De'Aaron Fox doesn't like to play slow. That's not his play style. Again, this was like a couple years ago, but I think the Kings now with Mike Brown, I don't know how Mike Brown coaches. He hasn't coached since the Knicks or LeBron, or with the Cavs and LeBron or the Knicks. I don't know when the last time he coached, but the talent-wise on paper, this team is good. They got De'Aaron Fox. They got Sabonis. Defensively, they're a little iffy. Sabonis is not great defensively. He's a good playmaker. He's a good rebounder. He's good on offense. So he'll get you some points. De'Aaron Fox is good. I think he'll be back to his 2021 form, averaging 23 plus. I think he'll be fine. Keegan Murray's he was a bucket in summer league. He was really, really, really good. He was a sniper.
I forgot to mention Keegan Murray is my pick for Rookie of the Year.
He was probably the most NBA ready player coming out of the draft. 3-year guy at Iowa. He's really good. He's the most NBA ready player. He'll probably, he'll do well. The Kings, I probably say they're at 10, 11, 9 in that area. I would say over on their win. I think that's a definite lock in my opinion. But for them to do better in a stacked West, better than a 9, would be surprising to me.
Yeah. They brought in a few players too, so that they kind of improved their roster some. Yeah, I got them at like 11 right now.
All right, Elijah, I'm not going to spin. I'm going to give you the Blazers. So it'll be all fair for us to pair for our favorite team.
I won't spend too long on them either. The offseason additions, you bring in Jeremy Grant, you bring in Gary Payton II to try to address the lasting issue over the past how many ever seasons with Damian Lillard as the best player on the team. That's defense. We know that a Damian Lillard-led team is going to be top 10 some years even top 5. Going to be a top 5 offense. That's what he does by himself. But the defense is always bottom 5, bottom 10 to kind of cancel it out. The Blazers are just kind of iffy to me too. I don't really trust their depth at all. I think that the starting 5 is good. I really like Anthony Simons at the 2, especially on offense. I think defensively, like you said, Tanner, he's small. He might present some concerns. But having Josh Hart start at the 3, I think Josh Hart is probably the best rebounding guard in the NBA. His numbers back that up. And having Jeremy Grant at the 4, who I think will be a good addition to the team. Nurkic at the 5, I'm not really a big Nurkic guy at this point. Ever since the injury, with him breaking his leg, he hasn't been great since he's come back. And the depth off the bench, it's shaky. It's shaky. I think Gary Payton II will come in and play good defense. I think that Nasir Little will be good. I think that Shaedon Sharpe at the beginning of the season, Gary Payton's going to miss the first few weeks, but I think Shaedon Sharpe might get some run. I'm still not the biggest believer in Shaedon Sharpe. I think he has a lot of potential, but at this point, with him not having many reps, none at all in college and barely any in summer league and preseason, I'm just not a believer in it at this point. I'm not really sold on the team. I think we'll be fun to watch. I think that we'll score a lot of points, but I think that we'll give a lot of points up. Per usual for the Blazers, I think they'll sit around that 10-11 range. I think that they'll be kind of interchangeable with the Lakers and the Kings. But what's the over-under? What's the over-under on Portland? I think I've seen it, but
39.5.
39.5. I'm going to take a slight over. I'll take a slight over. I think they'll be about 500.
Yeah, I had him at like 43, 44.
Yeah, 500 for me seems about right.
Just mid. Just the middest of the mid. That's what Portland has been.
Jacob, is Jacob's turn, right?
Yeah.
You got the Cavs.
Ooh. I'm pretty high on the Cavs. I had them as my 4 seed. I think they'll get a lot of wins during the regular season. But in the playoffs, I know they're still very young. Donovan Mitchell, like the most experienced playoff performer besides maybe Kevin Love. They're built for their future, in my opinion, but I think they can honestly make noise with Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell at the 1 and 2. And I kind of expect another lead from Evan Mobley. So I think if fully healthy, they can make a push. I'm not a big fan of their depth, especially their wing depth. But I think Garland, which I think they were the 5 seed last year before injuries happened. 5 or 6 seed.
Yeah, they were a lock.
Yeah, so, but they stay fully healthy the whole year, depending on how, I guess, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland mesh, which I've watched, preseason, small sample size, but they mesh pretty well right now. But, yeah, I think those two mesh really well with Mobley and Allen, which they're going to have to stagger them a lot too, I feel like. They could make some noise in the East. I'm not going to say go deep in the playoffs, but based on matchups, I wouldn't be surprised if they go second round, maybe.
This team is very similar to how the Jazz were built around Donovan Mitchell. Because they got you could say like Garland similar to Mike Conley, and Jared Allen's similar to Rudy Gobert. It's a stretch, but it's very similar. I do like the Cavs, man. They were a lock for the playoffs before injury. Injuries is what literally kept them out of the playoffs. So staying healthy, I think they're a top 5 East team in the East easily.
I have them at 5.
Yeah, I think their front court defense will back up their backcourt defense.
47.5 is their over/under.
I'll take a slight over.
Slight over, yeah. I had them at 48.
Yeah, 48 seems about right. Final
How many teams
three.
are left?
Final 3. It's 3
Okay.
teams. One of us is going to be left out, fortunately.
I'm going to do a joint talk about them, which we've been doing that, but
I have the OKC Thunder.
Forgot about them.
OKC, they're out without Chet this year, which will suck because be the only reason that anybody watches the Thunder.
Slam under. whatever it is.
Yeah.
The team is viciously young. I think if Mike Muscala's still on that roster, I think he's their oldest player. I don't know if you want Mike Muscala as your vet. The team's young. They got Shea, who's their best player. Shea, I think, can develop into a number one option on a playoff team. Him having that experience with that 1 year with Chris Paul really helped his development and growth as a player. And I think that'll, once that team becomes well and everybody on that team develops, I think that team will be good. I think right now, after this season, I think the ball is in Sam Presti's court. It's always in his court, but especially after this year, I think it's the ball. He showed that he can, play around with those picks and move up. They moved up with the Knicks. He traded some picks for Ousmane Deng, but especially after this year, I think the ball is in Sam Presti's court. To do something with those picks, because you don't want a rebuild lasting 8 years where you have 3 new young guys come in and use all of those picks. It's not realistic. So after this year, I think the ball is in Sam Presti's court to, do something with those draft picks. But right now, I think they're just a very young developmental team. They'll just, develop all their guys and, just go out there and hoop and not really, care, in my opinion. I'll take their under. I don't care what it is.
They want to lose games. That's just what it is.
They have
23 and a half. They may sit there, but I thought I'll take
that would be
under.
wild if somehow they ended up with Victor, though. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
He'll get hurt before the season starts, and they'll be back at it another season.
I just think they have a lot of young players. It's going to be hard to develop all of them, especially. But
there will be trading of picks going on. They will definitely. They can't keep all of the picks. They got to do something with them.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't bring in 3-4 new draft picks every season and keep everyone. It's not realistic, especially with your core guys that you want to keep. All right, we have Boston and Miami as the last 2 teams. I don't know how we want to do these.
I think we should all say a little piece about Boston. We can go ahead and get Miami out of the way first, though.
Yeah.
I think Miami's a 4 seed. Miami's my 4 seed. I think that they didn't do much to get better. I think in the playoffs, losing PJ Tucker will hurt them a little bit. But I think that maybe they've reached their ceiling. I think it depends on Bam, because Jimmy by himself can only take you so far. I think that Bam is the X factor on that team, along with the efficiency and playmaking of Tyler Hero. I think those are the 2 things that
I was gonna say. I feel like Bam has to cement himself as that number 2 guy. He has to, take on score, show he can score more. He's good for 10 rebounds. He's good for those 4 or 5 assists that he's shown. He's good, great defensive player. He's got to score more, man. He's shown that he can shoot the 3 ball. He's just got to shoot them. He's just got to get up. I think I'm not going to say it's going to come decision time for the Heat to trade him, but Bam has to step up and be that second guy next to Jimmy and just not care and just take that load. I think Bam is come time for that for him to be able to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that in the playoffs, especially, we saw him in not this past season, but the season before when they played the Bucks and got swept. We saw Bam be scared to take floaters. He was psyched out of taking floaters, and when he did, he missed almost every single one. That was probably the worst possible series Miami could have played, and a lot of that rested on Bam's shoulders. I just think that aggression is part of it. I think that maybe not even threes, maybe just work into the mid-range and get comfortable doing that first before you feel comfortable enough to start taking threes. But just something. Give them something consistent offensively.
Yeah, obviously you still have your other core pieces in Tyler Hero, who probably averaged 20 again. Jimmy Butler's the guy, obviously. It's just, I think, whether or not that you consider Miami championship contenders or not rests on Bam's shoulders, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because they'll still have that culture. They'll still have that defense that they have. But Miami needs Bam Adebayo to be better. Not saying he's bad, just saying he needs to be better.
Yeah.
Their win is 48.5.
I'm gonna take a slight over. I'm gonna take like a very slight over.
Yeah.
Just 'cause I think they'll be a good regular season team.
Yeah, I think
Slide over.
I think 50 for them is a good. Is good.
Yeah.
Last team. Oh, were you say something?
Am I frozen on y'all's? My whole computer froze.
I just
Yeah.
can't see you. We can hear you.
Okay, yeah, my whole computer froze. I can hear y'all, but nobody's like moving.
Yeah, we're almost done. Last team, we have to talk about Boston Celtics. Boston had an interesting offseason, to say the least. Ime Udoka got himself in some trouble, and now he will not be coaching the Celtics this season. I forget the interim's name.
I don't know.
Joe Mazzulla or something like that.
Yeah, it's not Ime Udoka, and that'll hurt Boston. I think last year was amazing for every player on that Boston roster as far as developmental goes. They just woke up and grew up, and Ime helped that. At the beginning of the season, Ime was calling out his players. You never see a first-year head coach do that. Just throw his players under the bus and help them grow up and mature enough and take responsibility for everything, because we saw that Marcus Smart was calling out both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, like saying they're ISO players. They don't really know what to do if they can't ISO. And then they have a players meeting, all that, and they mesh together. Ime Udoka helped that too, saying like, oh, my players don't try hard enough, and they grew this brotherhood, and they eventually made a finals run, became two games away from winning the finals. So obviously Ime Udoka is going to be an integral part of that team's success, but I think that team really meshed together, and that team really, did something with that team's chemistry, and they'll be. I don't want to crash and burn on this. I think they'll be fine without Ime Udoka, because I think that team is more of like it's a by committee type of thing. I know every team has to be by committee, but it's more of that in Boston with like that team has a lot of verbal coaches on that floor, especially with Marcus Smart there. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, but I think they'll be fine without Ime Udoka.
I have one particular beef with the Boston Celtics. Their half-court offense. I think defensively they're fine, but I think in the playoffs we saw their half-court offense
stagger.
Yes,
Not
be
stagger,
very, very stagnant. And what bailed them out ultimately was the three-point shot. They made so many of their three-pointers. It single-handedly won them the Bucks series. They should not have won that series. With an average shooting series, they don't win. They don't get out of that series alive. We saw them in the games that they won in the finals. They shot ridiculously from three. Do you trust that on a consistent basis? Maybe with their style, maybe because I know they like to drive and kick to the corners to guys like Grant Williams and Al Horford. But I don't trust it. I don't trust it on a consistent basis. I think that their defense will be fine. I think that they'll win a lot of games, but I don't trust their shooting on a consistent basis.
I think they're one of those teams that just figures it out. Like, I think they're more game by game basis. Obviously, every team has a game plan and what they want to do going into a game, but I think the Boston Celtics are a more, matchup based, game by game type of thing, because whatever works they're going to go with. Whatever's not we're going to work with, they're just steer away from it. I know that's a basketball logic, but Boston really, the eye test shows that. That's what they do. And they don't overcomplicate things, especially after January 1st. That team was one of the greatest defensive teams we've ever seen after January 1st. And they really just don't overcomplicate things on offense like they did beforehand. They really dumbed it down, and it really helped them. So just feed off of that. What helped them, especially in that Nets series, their strong defense is really what their offense was based off of. Way more fast break offense than what they were used to. It's just off of defense. So I think they'll lean more on that. Obviously, during the playoffs, half-court offense is important. You need that, but I don't know. They're going to rely more on their fast break offense and just based off of their defense.
Yeah, I think they're going to rely a lot of defense this year.
What's their win total?
They're over under. 53.5, the highest in the NBA.
I had him at 52.
I'm going to take a slight over. I think they'll be about 54, 55.
I think they're good. I think 53 is a good mark for them. I'll go under by a little bit. 52, 53 just seems right. They won 51 last year. I think 52, 53 is a good base for them.
I'm gonna go under by just a little bit, like Tanner said.
All right. After talking about every single team, if you want to do more with the Hall of Fame probability thing.
Yeah, we can just breeze through this real quick. This won't take long at all. So I've got these it's the active players Hall of Fame probability percentage. I'm gonna present two players. Who have it's like a versus type thing. Who you think has the highest probability to get into the Hall of Fame, and some of it may surprise you because it surprised me whenever I first saw it. So y'all pick between the two players, and I'll keep track of score, and I'll do like 6 or 7 real fast, and one of y'all will be the winner. So first two players, who has the higher Hall of Fame probability? Is it Nikola Jokic or Blake Griffin?
Jokic.
I'm gonna go Jokic.
Well, you're all wrong. It's Blake Griffin.
That's wild.
Yeah, Blake Griffin has a 55% chance to make the Hall of Fame, and at this current day, Nikola Jokic only has a 44% chance to win.
Yeah, Jokic should be 100%. Jokic is.
Yeah.
Back MVP?
Look, what you'll come to see with this list is younger players in the league are going to be below guys who aren't as good as them, but have been in the league for a long time. So
see, even when you ask that, that's such an obscure comparison that I felt like it was going to be Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
I almost went Blake Griffin, but I was like, surely it's not.
Yeah, that one was weird for sure. So the second one, we've got Jimmy Butler or Klay Thompson.
I go Klay.
I'll go Klay.
Yeah, I'll go Klay.
Y'all are all 0 for 2.
Yes.
I wanted to psych y'all out with that one. Jimmy Butler is above Klay Thompson, even with Klay Thompson's accolades being better than Jimmy Butler's. Jimmy Butler has a 71% chance to get the Hall of Fame, and Klay Thompson has a 70% chance. So they're like neck and neck. They're right there together.
I like that. Jimmy's my favorite player. I like that.
Is Jimmy really a Hall of Fame player to y'all?
Yes.
At this stage of his career, do y'all think Jimmy Butler's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let me put it to you this way. When you tell the story of basketball and of this generation, of the players in this generation, if you
could leave Jimmy Butler out. You could leave Jimmy Butler out.
You really think
I'm not saying he's bad, but Jimmy Butler, like, he's good. He's a top 10 player right now. But I don't know, man. I don't really know. Right.
Hall of Fame, though. Think about Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Right? The best however many players to ever play the game of basketball. And his career right now, where he sits right now, I don't think Jimmy Butler's a Hall of Famer.
Wow.
I do. I think he
could be.
He's like one of two active players.
Yeah, I think it's borderline.
I think he could. Just right now, where his career's gone, how his career's gone out, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer at this point.
Okay, so on to my third one then. Kyle Lowry or Derrick Rose?
Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's got jewelry. Derrick Rose got an MVP, but he hasn't really done much since then. Kyle Lowry's got that jewelry.
Yeah, I'll say Kyle.
Oh, y'all go with Kyle?
Yeah.
He's going to be wrong again. Watch. He's going to be wrong.
This one wasn't close. You're all right. It's Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry has an 86% chance to get in the Hall of Fame.
Golly, bro.
Derrick Rose only has a 12% chance to get
You're
in the Hall of Fame.
telling me. Is this Basketball Reference?
Yes, this is Basketball Reference. That's why I asked you about Jimmy Butler. Can you tell
I think you can't with Kyle Lowry?
Yeah, with Kyle Lowry.
He's the greatest Raptor ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But 86?
86 is high. He's over some guys like Kawhi Leonard and who else?
You can leave Kyle out of the Hall of Fame, bro. He's a good player, but Kyle Lowry in the Hall of Fame, he's like a 3-time All-Star. And he's got a chip. Like, bro, they'd just be putting anybody in the Hall of Fame now.
Man, you sound like an old head. All right, on to number 4. I'm gonna try to get a kind of obscure one with this one. So we've got Andre Iguodala, and he is going to go against. Andre Iguodala is going to go against Marc Gasol.
Higher probability, I would say Iggy.
I'll go Andre, yeah.
I'm gonna go Mark.
You know, Mark. Andre Iguodala does have the higher probability.
Iggy's got four of them.
Yeah.
And a Finals
Yeah, that is
MVP.
true.
His probability is low though. His is kind of surprisingly low at only 13%. I thought it would be higher.
13?
Yeah, only 13%. And Marc Gasol is just 4%. So I don't even know why he's still listed as an active player on this because I'm pretty sure he's out of the league at this point.
Yeah, he's retired.
Yeah. So we'll do two more. I'll kind of go towards the top, towards some of the big names, and I'm going to see how y'all are thinking about this. So we'll go Giannis. We'll go Giannis against Carmelo Anthony.
Melo's one of those guys I think he should be 100.
You think so?
Melo's a lock. He's top 10 in scoring all time.
Right now, I'm going to go Melo.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Melo.
I would say Melo is now, yeah.
You would be right. Melo is basically a lock at this point at 98%. He's gonna be there. He will be there. And even at this point of Giannis's career, I know he's still only like 27. It still does kind of shock me to see that he's only 87% because I think if he retired today, he's 100% without a doubt a Hall of Fame.
First ballot.
For sure. 100%. So for this last one, I don't even know y'all scores anymore. Who cares at this point? Last one, we got Anthony Davis against Draymond Green.
Draymond.
It's gotta be Draymond.
I would say Draymond, but who's
It's
a top
probably
75 player
Yeah.
and who's not?
Yeah.
But just based on accolades, man, I
Sure.
would say Draymond. That would be my first reaction, but I'm going to say AD.
This one surprised me. This was the one that really stuck out to me because it's Anthony Davis and it's not even close. It's really, really weird. Anthony Davis has a 99% chance to make the Hall of Fame.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
And Draymond is all the way down at just 77. So
That is wild. I will say that. That's wild.
that one threw me off a lot. I never
That's
would.
egregious. Not saying 80's bad, but he's questionable. 80's
I mean,
top
yeah, you just think about
75.
his accolades too compared to Draymond. It would seem like Draymond has a big ups on AD with accolades.
So Basketball Reference is telling me that let's do a rundown here. Iggy's only 13% in his stage of his career. He's got no basketball left pretty much.
For Kyle Lowry,
This is
Kyle
last-
Lowry's 86. Kyle Lowry's 86. Who was higher than Clay? Jimmy Butler? And then who was AD's 98,
98.
but
Technically
Melo's
not
80's 99, 98, whatever, and you're putting him on the same probability as Melo.
80's above Carmelo.
If AD retires right now, would you put him in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be unanimous in my opinion.
I'm not putting him there. If he retires today,
Really?
I'm not putting him there.
Really?
What has he done? Besides a couple All-NBA first teams.
Yeah, he's made some first teams, and he's got the All-Star appearances. He's got
A ring.
Yeah.
I think he's a Hall of Famer, but not maybe first ballot, not unanimous.
You could convince me, but right now, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Definitely over Draymond's definitely there.
Well, if y'all stuck around for that long, y'all get that tidbit of information. Just appreciate y'all for sticking around to this point if y'all have.
I mean, that's wild. Basketball Reference
that-
needs to fix that. That's wild. If you guys did stick around to this point, we do appreciate you guys listening. This was super fun podcast to record. Hopefully we could do this again in the future. But if you guys have stuck around this far, please subscribe to both of our YouTube channels, Ball Oasis and H&H Plus H&H Podcast. Follow us on Apple. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Music, wherever you guys listen to your podcast. I will have the notification to their guys' podcast in the link below. Go check them out. You guys are awesome. And they obviously know their hoops. So we appreciate you guys listening, and we'll see you guys next time.